My brother grabbed my daughter's gift, scoffed, and called it cheap junk, then threw it straight at her face during his birthday party. Our parents merely smirked. I didn't engage in an argument. I'm Nadia Crane, 38, a single mom and remote software engineer earning $115,000 a year. For 8 years, I paid my parents' rent and lent my brother $70,000 to help him open his pottery shop in Barrio Viejo, Tucson, with his 2019 BMW as collateral. I eventually pulled the plug, repossessed the BMW, and told him, "From now on, you're on your own." He thought I was bluffing until everything disappeared. If your family ever treated you like their personal ATM, grab some popcorn and hit subscribe, because the fallout was a total disaster. 6 years ago, Gage walked into my house with a glossy business plan. He was 27, fresh off yet another dead-end job, and his eyes lit up like he'd struck gold. The pages were filled with hand-thrown mugs, custom planters, and a storefront in Barrio Viejo, a prime tourist area in Tucson. He talked about startup costs of $70,000, breaking even in 18 months, and a profit margin of 30%. I sat at the kitchen table while Kendall colored in the living room, and he slid the folder across to me like it was a winning lottery ticket. He'd been couch surfing for months after a previous job at a warehouse fell through. Each week he'd come up with a new idea: food truck, vape shop, now pottery. I'd heard it all before, but this time he had spreadsheets and actual projections. He mentioned that the BMW parked outside could secure the loan if I co-signed. I hesitated. My divorce had been finalized 2 years earlier, and my finances were finally stable, thanks to remote coding, earning $115,000. No office politics, no daycare rush. But Gage kept pushing. Family helps family. We met Lane Foster downtown the following week. Lane presented the terms clearly and simply. 5.5% interest, $1,400 monthly payments, principal due in 5 years, and the full title of the BMW as collateral. Gage signed quickly, his pen scratching loudly in the quiet office. I added my name beneath his, my heart thumping, but steady. The dealership transferred the car into his name that same afternoon. He drove off, waving with the radio blasting. The first 6 months went smoothly. Payments appeared in my account on the first of each month, automatically transferred. No need to chase him. He texted photos of the shop, shelves lined with glazed bowls, tourists taking pictures, and a chalkboard menu advertising the Desert Bloom collection. The shop's Instagram grew to 2,000 followers. He posted stories of firing kilns at midnight, clay under his nails, grinning like a kid. I forwarded the receipts to Lane, who nodded in approval during our quarterly check-ins. Then the texts started to slow. 1 month passed, then 2. I called. He blamed supply chain delays and claimed clay prices had doubled. Another month passed with no payment. I drove to Barrio Viejo unannounced. The front door was locked. In the middle of the afternoon, the lights were off, and there was dust on the display bowls. Gage answered his phone from a bar patio, his voice slurring with beer. "Market slow, sis. Give it time." I reminded him about the BMW. He laughed it off. Meanwhile, rent for my parents kept pulling from my checking account, $1,300 every first of the month like clockwork. Clyde's diabetes meds consumed half their Social Security, and Marlene still rang up groceries part-time at Southside Fries. Their fridge stayed stocked, the AC ran cold, and the Wi-Fi never blinked. I told myself it was temporary. Gage would catch up. Then, one Thursday, Casey caught me at the virtual water cooler. We'd been pair programming since the pandemic, 2 single moms trading memes between sprints. She noticed the transfer alerts on my shared screen. "You're bankrolling the whole crew," she said, no sugarcoating. "That pottery dream? It's a money pit," I brushed her off. "Gage was family. Blood doesn't default." She simply raised an eyebrow and muted her mic. I kept the autopays running. Kendall asked why Uncle Gage never visited anymore. I told her he was busy building something big. She nodded and went back to sketching desert flowers on scrap wood. The kiln in Barrio Viejo stayed cold. I reserved a table at El Charro, but Gage said he was busy. That afternoon, I spotted his private party photos on Facebook, tagged at Mom and Dad's. Kendall saw the same post and wouldn't let it go. She clutched the wooden box she'd been carving after school for 4 solid months. Gage's name in bold letters, desert cacti etched along the edges, the lid hinged with tiny brass screws she'd saved her allowance to buy. "Uncle Gage has to see it in person," she insisted, eyes wide. I sighed, grabbed the keys, and we drove the 20 minutes to South Tucson. Their street looked the same, cracked sidewalks, chain-link fences, Mom's plastic flamingos faded to pink. Cars crowded the driveway, cousins I hadn't seen in years, neighbors from the old block. Gage had strung chili lights across the carport, folding tables piled with tamales and Corona. Music thumped from a Bluetooth speaker. Kendall hopped out before I even parked, the box tucked under her arm like treasure. We stepped through the side gate. Gage stood center stage in a new linen shirt, beer in hand, laughing with a circle of friends. Kendall marched right up. "Happy 33rd, Uncle Gage." She held the box high. He glanced down, smirking. "What's this?" He flipped the lid open, peeked inside at the empty velvet lining meant for his watch collection, then snorted. "Handmade junk. Worthless." Before anyone could process it, he hurled the box straight into Kendall's face. The wood cracked against her cheek, the brass hinge scraping her skin. She stumbled back, the box clattering to the concrete. The yard froze. Clyde looked up from his lawn chair, insulin pump clipped to his belt, and just chuckled under his breath. Marlene, wiping salsa from her fingers, shook her head. "Kids these days, always with the crafts." A cousin pulled out her phone and started filming. Within seconds, the family group chat was flooded with laughing emojis. "Real family right here. Sis and niece not invited? Classic." Kendall's lip trembled, a thin line of blood where the hinge had caught. I knelt and picked up the splintered lid, seeing her 4 months of late nights flash across the broken grain. Gage turned back to his friends like nothing had happened. I stood, phone already in hand, snapped a quick photo of the BMW parked crooked on the lawn, his name on the title, my collateral. Then I checked the latest rent statement on my banking app. $1,300 due in 3 days. I typed a single line into the group chat and attached both images. "You're on your own." Everything stopped. Phones buzzed around the tables. Gage's head snapped toward me. "You're joking?" I didn't answer. Kendall grabbed my sleeve and we walked out past the chili lights. The gate clanged shut behind us. In the car, she pressed a tissue to her cheek, silent. I started the engine, the tires crunching on gravel. Gage's shouts faded as we hit the main road. Back home, I blocked the group chat. Kendall showered, then came out with a butterfly bandage from the first aid kit. She placed the broken box on her desk, stared at it for a long time, then opened her laptop and started a new design, something sharper, no cacti. I logged into the bank, hovered over the autopay for Mom and Dad's rent. My finger hovered, then clicked Disable. A confirmation pinged. Scheduled payment canceled. That night, Gage left 4 voicemails. The first was angry, the next pleading. I deleted each one unheard. Kendall fell asleep with the desk lamp on, wood shavings still in her hair. I sat on the couch, staring at the dark screen, feeling the first real quiet in 8 years. The next morning, Lane Foster emailed the official demand letter. The subject line read, "Notice of Default," with the attached PDF. Gage Brooks loan, stamped in red with a 30-day cure period, already halfway burned. I forwarded it to the repo company Lane kept on retainer, the same outfit that handled foreclosures for half the lenders in Pima County. They confirmed pickup for 10 a.m., no extensions. I brewed coffee and watched Kendall tape the splintered box back together with wood glue. She didn't speak, just sanded the rough edge where the hinge had torn. At 9:45, my phone buzzed with a live feed link from the repo driver. I clicked. The pottery sign outside Barrio Viejo swung in the breeze. Gage paced out front in yesterday's shirt, yelling into his cell. The flatbed rolled up. 2 guys in high-visibility vests hopped out. Gage lunged for the driver's door, but the repo man sidestepped him, hooking the BMW in under 3 minutes. The chain clinked, the engine revved, and the car lifted like a toy. Tourists stopped. Phones were out. Gage chased the truck halfway down the block before it turned the corner. The auction was posted online that afternoon. Starting bid, $25,000, no reserve. Bids trickled in from Phoenix dealers, a collector in Sedona, and the final hammer fell at $35,000. The funds were wired to Lane's trust account by the close of business. The deficiency balance stood at $45,000, now unsecured. Lane filed the judgment lien against Gage's future wages, standard procedure. I opened the banking app and scrolled to recurring transfers. Mom and Dad's rent, about $300 due in 48 hours. Electric, water, internet, another $400 combined. I hovered over each one, my thumb steady, then toggled them all off. Confirmation banners flashed green. Canceled. For the first time in 8 years, the chain broke. Gage started calling at noon. The first ring went to voicemail. His voice cracked, background noise of the empty shop. "Sis, we can talk this out." Deleted. The second call was angrier. "You're tanking everything I built." Deleted. By evening, 7 more calls, pleading, bargaining, and threats about telling Kendall I was heartless. I let the inbox fill, and the battery died overnight. 2 days later, the landlord posted a 3-day pay or quit notice on the pottery shop door. Gage scraped together partial rent from credit cards, buying a week's reprieve. Customers dwindled. Word spread on Yelp about the drama surrounding the repo. Shelves sat half empty, the kiln cold since the power had been cut for non-payment. Gage tried pop-up sales at the weekend market, wheels of clay cracking under the sun. The landlord changed the locks exactly 14 days after the notice. Gage showed up with a duffel bag, found the chain, kicked the door once, then walked away. I printed the auction receipt, slipped it into an envelope with the deficiency notice, and mailed it, certified, to Mom and Dad's address. No note, just facts. Kendall asked if Grandma and Grandpa would be okay. I said they had options. She nodded and went back to carving a new piece. Harder lines this time. Lane called by the end of the week. Judgment recorded. Garnishment ready when he earns again. I thanked him and hung up. Gage's last voicemail, time-stamped at 2 a.m., was full of sobbing, promising to pay double if I restarted the rent. I cleared the queue and blocked the number. The house stayed quiet. No more auto drafts pulling at dawn. 3 weeks later, a pounding hit the door at 1 a.m. Kendall bolted upright in bed, eyes wide, then scrambled into her closet, knees pulled to her chest among the hanging clothes. I slipped out of my room, pressed against the hallway wall, heart slamming as each knock landed like a hammer on wood. The Ring app glowed on my phone, showing the front porch live. Gage swayed under the light, shirt untucked, a bottle dangling from one hand. He slammed the door again. "You ruined my life." His voice slurred through the panel, echoing down the quiet street. Kendall whimpered from the closet. I whispered through the crack, "Stay put. Lock the bedroom." She nodded, face pale in the dark. Another bang. A fist, this time rattling the frame. Gage kicked the baseboard. "Open up, where's the blood?" The camera captured every stagger, every curse, timestamp rolling. I dialed 911, voice low. "Intruder at my address, pounding on the door. Intoxicated. The operator asked if we were safe inside. Yes. Locked. Camera recording. She dispatched units. ETA 4 minutes. Sirens approached fast. Gage heard them, turned, and tried the knob one last time. 2 patrol cars pulled up, lights flashing red and blue across the lawn. Officers ordered him back, hands visible. He resisted, arms flailing until the cuffs clicked. They loaded him into the back seat, bottle confiscated. One cop knocked gently. "Ma'am, you okay?" I opened the door a crack and showed my ID. He reviewed the Ring footage on his tablet and nodded. "Well, book him for disorderly conduct. File the order tomorrow." The court clerk processed the restraining order by noon. 200 yards, no contact, effective immediately. Gage signed under duress at the station, eyes bloodshot. The first violation came 2 nights later. An unknown number. Voicemail, breathing heavily, then a hang-up. Traced to a burner at a gas station. The police issued a citation, $500 fine, 90 days suspended if no repeat. I ordered smart locks online. The August brand app-controlled system arrived the next day. I installed it myself, drilling into the frame while Kendall held the level. The deadbolt worked smoothly, a chime confirming. She tested the code 3 times, her finger steady now. That night, she left her desk lamp on, the bulb casting a soft glow under the door. The pattern held for a full month. Light on until dawn, the closet door cracked open just in case. Gage's mugshot circulated on the Neighborhood Watch app. Delivery drivers recognized him and refused packages to Mom and Dad's old address. Kendall started therapy sessions through the school counselor, who noted anxiety spikes around loud knocks. I attended parent night and learned breathing techniques to teach her. The ring alerts stayed armed, with motion zones tight on the porch. One evening, an unknown car idled across the street, engine off, the driver's silhouette visible. I snapped a photo and sent it to the police non-emergency line. It turned out Gage was borrowing a friend's ride. The violation was flagged, and another fine was issued. The judge warned that the next breach would mean jail. After that, Gage stopped showing up. Kendall's lamp finally clicked off on day 31. She emerged for breakfast, her hair tousled, a small smile on her face. "I think we're good," she said. I poured cereal and nodded. The house settled into a new rhythm. No more midnight pounding, no more unknown calls. The smart lock beeped cheerfully with each entry. Mom and Dad started showing up at the company gate during rush hour. Clyde, balanced on his cane, his rubber tip squeaking on sun-baked pavement, and Marlene, clutching a flattened cardboard sign inked in bold marker, "Ungrateful daughter." It was 4:45 p.m. Engineers in hoodies and Nikes poured out, some pausing to read, others lifting phones. A white Tesla slowed at the curb, the driver gawking. The security booth radio crackled. I watched the lobby monitor from the third-floor open office. HR was already on Slack about the gate incident. Escort eyes sent the external camera feed. 2 guards in navy polos stepped out, earpieces in, badges flashing. "Sir, ma'am, private property. Move to the public sidewalk." Clyde straightened, his voice rough from decades of unfiltered cigarettes. "She's my kid. Family matter." Marlene shoved the sign higher, nearly clipping a passing e-scooter. The guards flanked them, open palms guiding. No contact, just presence. They reached the property line. A verbal trespass warning was delivered. Return equals criminal trespass. Clyde grumbled about lawyers. Marlene folded the sign, tucking it under her arm. They shuffled to their rattling 2005 Corolla, parked across the street, the engine coughing to life. I forwarded the clip to HR that evening. Legal counsel drafted a cease and desist letter on company letterhead, then emailed it, certified, to the South Tucson address. Rent was still current. The tracking confirmed it. Marlene signed it 2 days later. The subject was, "Cease all workplace contact immediately." HR filed a copy in my record. Flagged for escalation. 1 month later, the landlord taped a 3-day pay or quit notice in red on the front door. Autopay had stopped weeks earlier. The first cycle was missed, and the second triggered default. Balance, $2,600 plus penalties. Clyde left a voicemail at reception. "Tell Nadia her father's insulin costs money." I forwarded it to HR and added it to my file. I stayed silent. The 30-day eviction clock began with the court filing. A sheriff's deputy posted the yellow final notice. Bold print, lockout imminent. Moving day arrived, cloudless. A U-Haul idled in the cracked driveway. An orange cord snaked to the garage for the final boxes. Neighbors watched from behind blinds. Marlene packed faded photo albums into plastic tubs, labeled with Sharpie. Clyde directed from a nylon chair on the porch, portable oxygen humming. By noon, the house stood empty. Keys on the counter, blinds half drawn. New tenants, a couple with a toddler and a lab, signed the lease that afternoon. The landlord swapped the locks and forwarded the mail to general delivery. They checked into Motel 6 off X Row, room 8, ground floor by the ice machine, $900 in cash up front for 30 nights, no card. The neon vacancy sign flickered through thin curtains. Marlene posted publicly on Facebook. Daughter evicted her parents. Pray, She tagged my work profile. I screenshot it and archived it in HR. Clyde's glucose spiked from vending machine pastries. The urgent care bill hit $1,200, mailed collect to the motel. Gage activated Uber Eats on a cracked iPhone 8. He borrowed a dented 2008 Civic from a casino night buddy. Suction phone mount on the dash. Red delivery bag in the back. Orders were sparse. Downtown salads, late-night tacos. Tips averaged $3. Gas cost $40 daily. Net, break even. He reclined the seat in Walmart parking lots, dollar store blanket over him, setting an alarm for 4 a.m. runs. The LA fitness trial lapsed when his card was declined. Security logged a second gate visit 3 weeks after the first. Marlene Solo carried a smaller sign printed on paper. Help your parents. She arrived at 4:30 p.m., just inside the line. Guards intercepted her before the exit rush. HR issued a final trespass order, a copy sent to Tucson PD. The campus ban was effective immediately, with her photo circulating in posts. Clyde tried my work email from the library, but it bounced. The subject line read, "You'll regret this." Motel manager knocked on day 24. Extension due by noon. Funds were short after the ER copay. They loaded the tubs into the Corolla's trunk, rope shut. I joined Gage at Walmart overnight. 3 cars, 2 with windows cracked, fogged by dawn. Gage ran to get breakfast burritos and returned with hash browns and senior coffee. Marlene scanned Indeed on her cracked Android. No callbacks for cashier positions. I blocked all forwarding addresses to a P.O. box. Kendall asked once about her grandparents while we watched a series. I said, "Actions have outcomes." She nodded, sanding a new puzzle box with sliding panels. No nails. Security feeds stayed clean after the ban. No more signs. 1 year later, a handwritten letter arrived from Gage. The envelope was postmarked Tucson, with no return address. My name was scrawled in shaky blue ink. Inside were 3 pages torn from a yellow legal pad, creased and coffee-stained. Sis, I was wrong. I see it now. The shop, the car, the rent, everything. I took you for granted. Dad's diabetes got worse in the motel. Doctors say amputation below the knee if we don't pay for the specialist. Please forgive me. One last chance. I read it at the kitchen island, morning light slanting through the new blinds. Kendall poured cereal across from me, now 16, her hair longer, her voice steadier. She glanced at the pages. Uncle Gage? I nodded. She pushed her bowl away and waited. I folded the letter once, placed it back in the envelope, and slid it into the trash under yesterday's coffee grounds. That afternoon, I drafted a single postcard. Plain white, no picture, we are no longer family. I mailed it from the corner box. No signature, just the postmark. No contract proposed, no money offered, no phone number included. Gage never replied. The letter went one way. We had moved 3 months earlier, to a quiet subdivision north of the city with adobe walls and citrus trees in the yard. A new build, 2 stories. Kendall's room overlooked the Catalina foothills. We changed every number, cell, work, extensions, even the vet for the cat we adopted. The forwarding service expired after 90 days. Old emails bounced. Social media profiles scrubbed. Connections severed. Kendall thrived in the new space. Woodworking bench set up in the garage. Power tools purchased with birthday savings. She built a cedar jewelry box for her best friend, with dovetail joints in a hidden compartment. She entered it in the county fair and took second place. The trophy now sits on the mantel, the blue ribbon fluttering. Therapy ended after 6 sessions. The counselor signed off. Resilient boundaries, solid. I advanced at the company. Senior engineer, flexible hours, stock options vested. Casey and I co-hosted virtual game nights. Kids in the background building Lego sets. No more HR flags, no more gate photos. Security feeds archived, blank. Rumors filtered through distant cousins. Gage was still delivering. Civic on its last legs. My parents rotated between weekly motel stays. Food stamps were approved. Clyde's foot was saved by a charity clinic. Partial toe removal, now using a walker. Marlene was working as a cashier at a dollar store. Her name tag crooked. No contact was attempted after the postcard. Kendall asked once, during a hike up Sabino Canyon. Do you miss them? Water bottle in hand, trail dust on her sneakers. I thought of the splintered box, the pounding door, the cardboard signs. I miss who I thought they were. She nodded, adjusted her backpack, and kept walking. The sun dipped behind the mountain, the sky orange and calm. Family isn't an ATM. Blood doesn't entitle endless withdrawal. When you stop giving, the masks fall. You see who stayed for love and who stayed for convenience. We built a smaller, tighter circle, real. Kendall's laugh echoed in the new house, tools humming in the garage. Peace wasn't dramatic. It was quiet mornings. No auto drafts, no midnight knocks. The lesson stuck. Protect your peace like code. Test boundaries. Commit changes, deploy without regret.